It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to General Hospital Recap. How we start the show.
Oh my gosh.
For January 6th through 10th, 2025. We just did not have an episode on Tuesday, January 7th, because there was coverage of President Carter's preparing for he was laying in state. So they had that as preempted. But yeah, it was a hostile week.
Yeah.
I'm pretty mad about a lot of things. But we'll start with the Port Charles pipeline. Maybe we need to have like what was the good of the week and what was the bad of the week, so we at least get it out of the way. Like,
okay.
Holly, her subject is Drew.
Mm.
Let me start with Steve Burton. He was amazing, and yes, I'm biased. Nope, I feel like there is nobody that could, even if you don't like Jason, even if you're done with the Jason coming back from the dead all the time.
Right, he was amazing this week.
Amazing. But Drew, what a jerk. I don't even know what they are trying to do. I don't think they do either.
No.
In my opinion. So that was it, though. Isaiah's on the credits now. That's new this week, right?
I think that is new.
And Rick? Because he was on Friday.
Rick was on.
And what has he been on?
I think he was. I think Rick was already.
Because we got a bunch of new cards, but I just don't know, like, have I just not been paying attention? But that's interesting. And then just some unfortunate, did you see that Cameron Matheson lost his house in the fire?
Yes.
I mean, that's just everything that's going on out there is just absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say, but it was just, I would anticipate that there's probably going to be a time where, and just remember, guys, we haven't said this in a very, very long time, but if you're new to the show, we do not attack the actors. We celebrate their things and we bring to light. So actually, there was a day in Johnny Wachter's murder trial. Hold on. Because I think one of the guys turned on. So two of the teenagers will face trial for the murder of him, for his murder.
Okay.
2 18-year-olds.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
But not that it wouldn't be sad. Obviously, it's sad at any age, but to have ruined your entire life at 18, like.
Yeah. Well, and I think they probably were 17, weren't they, when they did it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely been a year.
So it's coming up on a year at least. Yeah, because so this upcoming 4/11, we are doing our recap of 2024, and he's in there. May 25th, it was Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
So, I mean, they might have been 18. It doesn't really matter, like you said. But, yeah. So, like, stuff like that we'll talk about, but, like, no, we're not getting into their personal beliefs about certain things and blah, 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 blah. But, like, when they have babies and, stuff like this, it's just... if you're the praying kind, just pray for him and his family and like all those other. It has been bothering me a little bit how much like it's been the celebrities, but I think that's
what's in that area.
Joe Smith down the road,
right? Oh, did we talk about Steve Burton being engaged?
We did not. See, celebrate.
There you go. We celebrate good things.
Yep. That was this week though, wasn't it? I think that he announced it.
Was it? I couldn't remember if it was last week or this week. I just remembered seeing it
and being
like, oh my gosh.
We did though. When did he post it? It says 5 days ago, 6 days ago. So yeah, it was probably this week.
Right. He probably posted it Sunday or Monday.
On Saturday, January 4th, he announced on Instagram he was engaged. However, we had already recorded. So there we go. See, there's some good. And then I mean, we don't do spoilers, but I feel like this isn't a spoiler. Chad Duell has been on both Stephen Bradford's podcast and Maurice Bernard's State of Mind. I haven't listened. Wow. Was not expecting this. I'm sorry. I haven't listened to them, but like I've read write-ups about them, and it seems like he's making these choices for his mental health and for his health, and
right. He has to do what's best
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. It wasn't an easy decision.
Why am I apologizing? Everyone knows I cry.
Exactly.
I just wasn't scared myself. All right.
Yeah.
So for Hulu headlines, on Monday, Willow is distraught. Carly vents to Jason. Michael is in danger. Jocelyn makes a discovery, and Brad lashes out. On Wednesday, Jason and Sonny rush into action. Nina delivers bad news. Chase opens up to Sasha. Brooklyn makes a revelation, and Portia confides in Isaiah.
It wasn't a revelation. It was a confession. And I don't even know that it was a confession because it was to Lois and she already knew. It
was maybe Brooklyn. It's not even confides because Lois already knows.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know what to think about all that. Portia confides in Isaiah?
No.
Did she? Okay. Oh, she did a little bit about Cyrus. A little bit, maybe.
It was like a 2-second conversation in the hallway, but okay.
Listen, I don't write these. This is why we read them. On Thursday, Sonny wants answers. Anna needs Brennan's help. Jason makes a request of Lucas. Nina advises Willow. Drew interrupts Carly. And on Friday, Rick tries to sway Alexis. Cyrus does some eavesdropping. Willow takes control. Diane and Martin spar. Carly and Sonny lean on each other. So I feel like they did a really good job of not spoiling what happened.
That is true. That is true. Now, see, I didn't see any spoilers. I saw the warnings that because of the fires in California that the show may be triggering to some.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so then I was like, what are they doing?
I didn't see that. No.
I was thinking outside fires. I'm like, whose house are they burning down or what is catching on fire? And then once the scene started, I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. But yeah their headlines were good at not spoiling it.
Yeah. All right. So where do you want to start? Where does Ryan want to start? Did he watch this week?
He did not. Well, no, he watched the last 20 minutes of Friday. And so I can give his input, which was really just watching me go insane. So, but before that, he did not watch it.
He must have had a lot of questions though.
He's like, calm down. That's what he was saying.
No, Ryan, we will not calm down right now.
Exactly.
Right now, we're kind of hot.
Don't ever tell a woman to calm down. And I won't calm down about Friday. I was going to start with I love Brad and Lucas this week. They were so sweet. Brad was freaking out. Well, we see Cyrus come into the hospital and start talking to Isaiah, and Isaiah's like, listen, dude, I've heard plenty of bad things about you. I do not want to engage. Go about your business, but just let me be. And Cyrus is like, oh no, I need to thank you because you saved my niece, blah, blah, blah. And Isaiah's like, I did a surgery like every other surgeon. It happened to have some good outcomes, but that was not because of me. That was totally Lulu. Like, again, I don't want to get into this with you. And then Brad comes around the corner and flips out about what is he doing there? Why is he talking to Isaiah? Why is he continuing to harass the staff by being there? And Portia finally comes out and is like, oh, Cyrus, you're not allowed to be here. I want to ban you from the hospital. And Cyrus is like, you can't do that because I work with the such and such organization. And she's like, I don't care. I'm going to call them and tell them, no, you can't be here anymore. But while all that's going on, Brad is just freaking out about how horrible Cyrus is. And Lucas comes along and pulls him away into one of the other hallways and is like, calm down. And Brad's like, no, I know I'm a bad person, and so maybe it's not right of me to not give him another chance when I want people to give me another chance. And Lucas is like, even at your worst, you are nowhere close to how bad Cyrus is. And then there's this soft moment between the two of them. And it was just like, aww.
I do think if this happens, because when he first came back, we were like, do not put them back together again, because it doesn't make sense. But it feels kind of like if they're going to, they're going to do it the way of Lucky and Liz, and they're going to have them rekindle their friendship.
Right.
And then, because that's the thing. I mean, we both completely understand why they got divorced, absolutely. But I think that, interestingly enough, given, Lucas's family, perhaps he had never really had to experience anything that complex. Like, he was younger when Carly came to town and, Bobby and Tony got divorced. I mean, he was a child, so he's probably still remembered a lot. And I mean, he had his own things that he dealt with in high school, but, probably also seeing Brad grow has softened him. He immediately came back to town and was like, no, you're the same guy that I divorced. And now he's seeing the softer side of Brad.
Right. I loved it.
And it was sweet. I did like that he shot him down real quick when he was calling himself a hypocrite. And I did like Isaiah kind of trying to give Cyrus a benefit of the doubt for a second. Because he's like, okay, yeah, I've heard about some of the stuff you did, but what else is there? Like, it seems like you're at least trying to do some stuff. And then Portia comes over, and then Brad, and then he says to Cyrus, well, it seems like Jordan's not the only one that has this opinion of you. So,
yes.
So, yeah, maybe that's not inaccurate. We all know how I feel about this. I'd have been fine. I don't know. I don't like how we got here with Cyrus.
No, I feel like, I mean, I've hated Cyrus for the entire time. And even whenever you were singing his praise, I was like, no, he's absolutely...
I was never singing his praise. I was in support of his... I was in support of his redemption story.
Okay.
And I thought that could have been cool.
But you believed that it actually was happening. And I pointed out that it was just a front for everything.
See, but that's the thing that bothers me is anytime, and we don't get into this, but like, I am a Christian, and it bothers me that they always have them turn bad. It's like, or not turn bad, but like Griffin was a pastor, and he, had to abandon his faith and all these things, and and then Cyrus, and it's just like, come on, you can have a Christian, and we can be interesting too.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. I was mad with Griffin. Like, Griffin wasn't just a pastor, because in some churches it is okay to be married, like, depending on what religion you are. The pastor is married. Thank you, that's the word I couldn't get in my head. Denomination you have a family and whatever, blah blah blah. But Griffin was a priest. Nope, if you're a priest, you do not have girlfriends or spouses or whatever. Like, you're just off. But it would be nice if they had like we see all of them, everyone in Port Charles has this big beautiful wedding in the church that they 90% of the time classify as a Catholic church, and then they kind of like redo it for another wedding, and it's just a religious ceremony. But you never see those people going to church, or you never even hear those people saying, like,
but could it be a chapel, like just a chapel, like Heinz Chapel, and you can have any kind of, well, have you ever been in Heinz Chapel? It kind of like, it has the same,
but Catholic priests won't marry you anywhere but a Catholic church. So
I don't know, I'm not Catholic.
I know. But no, not even to get into all the religion, like what specifically what we believe or what other people believe. Just, it would be nice to have it tossed out there as like Stella. I picture Stella as someone who goes to church, and she is very open with her faith. She does talk about praying for people. So it would be nice to hear her say, oh, Sunday after church, I'll meet you at Bobby's for some coffee, blah, blah, blah. And they don't throw
those. I'm going to Bible study.
Yeah. So I'm agreeing with you. They don't always need to make us, it doesn't need to be a side story like, oh, they're only being redeemed so that we can make them the bad guy, or so that we can throw this in there. Totally with you. But you did believe that he was changing, and I told you he was not changing. But even him not changing.
At the time, the goal was for him to change. I don't think this was the original outcome. And I think we can say that about a lot of where the stories have gone lately.
You can say that about a lot of stories, but not this one. I'm sorry, you're just wrong. But he didn't need to go this far. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Cyrus doing things to get revenge on people that have hurt him makes sense. This just random walking into hospital rooms, killing people. I don't understand.
He's playing God. That's what he was talking about with Isaiah, is we both play God. And I think that's the thing, is that he's getting the God complex. But that's the thing, is he was a drug dealer. Like, he knew that what he did killed people, but he somehow separated it mentally that he was not killing people.
But I don't even understand how he justifies. Okay, like, I was so angry on Friday, and that's what Ryan witnessed, because I was literally screaming at the TV. But on Friday, when he went into Michael's room, I obviously don't agree with it, but I can understand if you would think, like, Michael's in excruciating pain. They're already saying they don't know that he's going to make it. So I'm making his life easier. Like, I'm making the ending easier for him. Instead of making him suffer for months, I'm just going to kill him now and be done. Like, okay, angel of death. That would make sense in that case. But
They
Sam
need to change that phrase.
But Sam was like sitting up in her bed, getting ready to be discharged, planning her wedding. And Dex, like, neither of them were going to die if it wasn't for Cyrus coming in and dragging them. So I don't understand what
Michael, though.
Thinking. Huh?
And the thing about Michael, though, too, is I understand when families make those decisions. I understand when families have to make those decisions about their loved ones. Cyrus has no emotional tie to him.
Right.
You know, and that's, like you said, it's why Sam, you know, why, I don't know. Like, I knew why Dex, and it's because of the Sonny connection. But, like, because, I mean, he knew that he was going to be putting Dex in the position where he would be able to do that.
Yes.
So, I mean, that took a lot of planning, and it's just, it doesn't make sense. It's not like, and this is where I'm going with I don't like, and Olivia. Okay, so Olivia is very, very, very good about it. Like, but we don't see it. We see it probably more as part of her character, but that's what I'm talking about. You know, we don't need them like Bible thumping, but okay, I will say we have Olivia. So
we do. Yes, Olivia.
And I definitely agree that Stella, you know, Stella does pray often, but I would say Olivia is probably the one that's the most outspoken about her devoutness.
Yes.
And about it being I feel like it's, you know, like driving force in her life. You know, it's something she considers every day. The thing with Cyrus was we saw him, and the thing is, and it can happen, you know, you can go through that redemption process like he has. Like, that wasn't far-fetched. It's not impossible for someone to go to prison and to come out changed. And then he started, you know, the radio show, and then he started like whatever, like this group, or he got involved in this group and everything. But now it's because of how I don't know. I don't understand how we got here with him. And that's what I'm saying, is that's why I don't think that the original story was for this. Kind of the same as, we'll get into it, Sidwell cannot be the person who bought Wyndemere.
Right?
That could not have been the original story. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm saying about the Cyrus. Like, when they had him changing, maybe they knew that it was going to eventually wind up with him going bad again, and that it's a front, whatever. But I'm not buying this. Suddenly he's an hands-on murderer.
Right.
You know, like that I'm not buying.
Nope. No. Like I said, it doesn't make any sense. If it was 100% about him feeling like he's doing the Lord's work, then he would only be killing people that he thought were ending up dead anyway. Right. And he wouldn't be hurting people like stabbing Dex, which is a whole nother storyline that I don't understand. So we see Brennan ask for the footage from the drone. He sees it. You can clearly zoom in. He had to zoom in. You can clearly see that it is Cyrus who stabbed him. Mm-hmm. And then he doesn't go to the police, and he doesn't go to, like, he comes to Jocelyn and he's like, hey, here's a list of people that were around, and here's this information. You should do your own investigating. Why? You're going to put Joss at risk of getting hurt herself. And why wouldn't you just take that information to the police and be like, hey, Anna, arrest Cyrus. He's the one that stabbed Dex.
I think because of what Colette said with, you can't use this information in a civilian case. And so that would negatively impact. That's why he said he was giving her breadcrumbs, because the only way Joss finding out who was there could not have only been done by Brennan giving her that list.
Right.
You know, she could have found that out other ways. However, the fact that we are having it be that way, not just maybe having Brennan, if Brennan had started a conversation with Felicia, was Brennan at Rice Plaza?
No.
He could have started up a conversation somehow to get Felicia talking about Rice Plaza and her being there that day. And then it could have triggered Joss saying, can I talk to you? Instead of now he sent her a list. He quit it with the digital trace. Like,
Right.
guys, it is 2025. Quit emailing and texting stuff that you want to do. Like,
Yeah.
bad stuff.
Right.
No.
Right. And you would think that the head of the WSB knows that. Like, I don't
Right.
want an electronic trail. No.
And of course, if anything happens to anyone, yes, they're going to go after the girlfriend's phone first to see what happened.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't get it. But that part I did understand, where he's like, I can't go right to her and say, it was Cyrus, here you go. And you can't do the same thing with Anna, because then that puts Anna in position of, well, you got this by using the wrong means. It's inadmissible because, so like that part, I get it. I did think it was weird. Ooh, do you think Martin's going to defend him?
Oh, God, no.
Because Martin seemed kind of jovial and buddy with him this week when Cyrus called, and he's like, yeah, that's what happens when you answer the phone. Maybe you should try it sometime when I call. So it sounds like Martin is also reaching out to him for some kind of a relationship. So
he cannot start a real relationship. He just sat at Laura's talking crap on Cyrus for Cyrus trying to have control over Lulu and was going to move her location and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
He cannot turn around and be like, oh, I'm going to defend my brother. That's something slimy that like Rick would do.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know if Rick would defend Cyrus.
I don't know.
I mean, he killed his former stepdaughter lover.
Yeah, but I don't think that Rick cares about Sam at all, except for maybe the fact that it was Molly's sister and it upset Molly. But Sam herself, he didn't care about in any way.
Maybe not. Not cared about, but I also don't think that he would have wished her dead.
Not wished her dead, but I mean, he just defended Ava. So, and then him going to Alexis.
That's different, though. That we talked about this we talked about this a lot, though. Ava's was an accident. Ava would never have intentionally done what happened. And it was an accident. He was not wrong in his defense.
Right. But it was still weird. But, and now
absolutely. But I'm just saying he wasn't wrong.
Yeah. And now him going to Alexis for Ava, like that was just stupid. I'm sorry. What do you think Alexis is going to say? Like, you just sat there and told Ava, she's not going to give it back to you. It's Ace's money. It's not going to happen. And then he goes over to Alexis and is like, hey, why don't you give some of that money back? And she's like, no, it's Ace's. I'm not going to give part of his estate away. That's not happening.
The thing is, Ava had just finished telling him, I'm not destitute. I just bought another commercial. But you couldn't afford a $600 dinner.
Right. But you have two buildings that you're paying a mortgage on. And I understand maybe not being ready to move from one to the other. Like, maybe you got to hurry this process up now. But if you have the next building to move into, move your stuff and sell the first building. Like,
well, she said she has to renovate. So, I mean, it just might not be ready for her to actually open up the gallery, which means she has to close down her business, which loses money, which then she can't pay mortgage on either one. She could lease it out. She could lease it out in the meantime.
There you go. See, I feel like there's ways around it.
Yeah. I mean, she absolutely could. She could lease it out.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still confused about how the Cassadines got that money back. And then this week we see Lucy showing the new owner of Cassadine Island around, but we just saw the paperwork last week that said Cassadine Island was still Cassadine. She didn't sell that in a week. The Cassadines did not put that for sale. So when are we going to come back and be like, wait a second, he actually shouldn't be living there because that sale got pulled?
Well, because the sale happened that happened like a year ago, didn't it?
Yeah. And she referenced that company's name this week when she was talking to him. I can't remember the name of the company, but remember, it was bought under it wasn't bought under a person's name. It was bought under a company. And she mentioned that company name this week whenever she talked about him buying it.
February 26, 2024, Ava informed Nina that the escrow papers had been received confirming the sale to the new owner. So a year ago.
Okay.
Ish.
Right. So if the Cassadines pulled it back, it's definitely pulled back by now. So why is he moving in? How's he moving in?
I don't know, but Lucy needs to start considering her safety.
Right?
Like, we have programs that can, I don't want to give away too much, can help us be more comfortable with meeting new people.
Yes, absolutely. And
Maybe verifying that they aren't if
murderers?
she went to an island
Right. That's what I was going to say.
night to meet a stranger.
Yep.
That's like,
yeah. Well, they talked on the phone, so you had to be a normal, sane person. They'd been interacting for quite some time and talking on the phone. She knew him well enough to know that he liked to play poker, so obviously he's a friend.
Nope.
And I thought he was supposed to be in hiding. Like the WSB was looking for him because of all the stuff with Lucky. And now he's just sitting at Bobby's having some coffee.
Well, and that's the other thing. So even if he is going after the Spencers, I feel like that's what has brought him there was the Spencers.
Oh, I feel like he's looking for Holly because of the diamonds.
Oh, yeah. But he knows that Lucky's, because he did seem surprised about the Spencers. But was he actually surprised? Or did he know that this is...
I feel like he knew that was the Spencers, but I don't think that he's there for Lucky. I think he's there for Holly. But again, when his
No, I was going to say, I definitely think that he's like going after Holly, but like, wouldn't they know that she wasn't there anymore?
Right. I don't know.
I don't know either.
That whole storyline really confuses me. I don't get what they're doing.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No, nothing new there.
No. Yeah. I don't get it.
We're all over the place there.
Lucy's being her charming self and filling him in on all the details of, I like how she said that she used to be married to Alan Quartermain. Forgot to mention that he has since passed away too.
Right.
Like, I do feel like that was slightly, like if he is going after who's the affluent family in the area and she's mentioning, I was married to Alan.
Right. You should mention that Alan's no longer around. But she did then kind of say, but I can introduce you to his grandson, Michael, and blah, 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 blah. And, and Drew, but he'll be spending so much time in DC.
And then he took her out to the parapet and they talked all about the skyline.
I think he was watching the skyline waiting to see Sonny's penthouse blow up.
Well, so that's the other thing. If he's there for Holly, is it because Sonny was going to... Oh, didn't they keep the diamonds? What happened to the diamonds?
Sonny kept one of the diamonds, I thought.
Okay.
I didn't think he kept all of them.
Sonny was somehow involved with Holly, possibly?
Maybe.
This doesn't make sense.
No, that didn't make sense. But that's why I thought he was watching the skyline.
Me too. Right, because he definitely, after Lucy left... I did like that she gave him the travel guide to Port Charles, though.
Yes.
Move, Lucy.
Yep. He was like, wow, you're a busy lady. You have a book. You run a whole company. You're a real estate agent.
Yep. But as soon as he shut the door, he danced through that living room out onto the balcony. And then shortly afterwards, we find penthouse on fire. Right. So I agree. Like, I definitely think that it was him. But why? If he's there for Holly, the only thing I can think of is that one diamond with Sonny. But then why would he do that? Because he needs the diamond. And if it's only one, he risks...
wouldn't blowing it up.
Right. He risks destroying it then. So...
And if I was going to go after Sonny, I wouldn't go after Sonny at his house. I would go after him at the restaurant.
Or at the warehouse that's on the waterfront that you can also watch explode from.
Right.
The balcony.
Right.
We've already seen that happen, but...
Yeah. I mean, this was definitely a new twist, but I just didn't understand going after his house. And it seems to still be like part of code that you don't go after families, like you don't hurt children and wives. And it being in the penthouse, like you could have hurt anyone. I mean, you did hurt anyone. Not that Michael isn't his child, but Michael is an adult at least. Like you could have hurt Avery or Donna.
Right. I don't know. I'm so confused and the thing is, it seems like it was maybe on a timer. So even if at the time someone wasn't there, like you can't guarantee that someone's not just going to suddenly stop by.
Right.
And be there.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm so confused. It's just...
I'm just mad about the whole whole thing, because if Chad decided that he needed to leave, he has that right as an actor, obviously. They don't want to replace him for whatever reason because he's been on the show for all those years. That's fine too. But do we really need to kill him off in like such a horrible way?
Right.
Like, what if he changes his mind in 5 years and wants to come back?
But I think that's why they're doing it this way, because maybe it'll be, I don't know.
No, I don't like that we're not giving him the option that if he changed his mind, or even that if at another point in time it would work for the storyline to have another actor walk in. Like, I liked your idea as much as I don't want to lose Sasha. I liked your idea last week of, okay, Sasha's moving away. He's going to move away with her and the baby and take Willow's kids. And there you go.
That was a side conversation we had because I took it out because it hadn't. Well, that would have been a spoiler for those who didn't know that Chad Duell was leaving.
Oh, okay. You're right. But
I am dedicated to my spoiler-free show. Okay.
Good job. We talk so much. I can't remember what we said when.
Well, and the thing is, we try not to have these conversations. Like, we try to, but this was one that, again, was very similar to Kelly, where you couldn't escape it.
Yeah.
Although I guess people have spoiled things for me that have also been said you couldn't have escaped it, and I somehow did until they told me.
Yeah.
So
I feel like Chad himself has put himself everywhere. Like, you really can't. It's not just.
Well, it was the same thing with Jonathan Jackson.
Right.
He announced himself coming back, and so did Rick.
Right.
Listen, guys, we're excited that you're coming back. But give us the element of surprise here.
Exactly. Stop announcing it and let us watch it.
Yes.
And then after you appear on the show the following weekend, respectfully, so that we have time to catch up, go ahead and put that announcement out to get anyone who didn't know.
Like Michael Easton did. We had no idea that he was done. And then he never posts anything. And he even said, I was trying to do an Irish goodbye. Yeah. And then that was it. Like, he didn't even say.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm so angry about it. And I was waiting for like Jason to walk in at the last minute and stop Cyrus. And instead that was the cliffhanger, but it wasn't a cliffhanger because you saw him inject the IV bag with it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't
know. And I don't know how Willow isn't seeing what a jerk Drew is through that whole conversation. Like, first of all, I wanted to go through the TV and punch him in the face whenever he was telling Carly how all of this was her fault and that she's the only one to blame and all of that stuff. Because how do you even talk to someone that you were in a relationship with like that? Like, you stand there and say, oh, I loved you, blah, blah, blah. How could you say those things to her if you ever loved her?
Right. I did like everything Carly was saying to him, though. And he's like, I went to prison for you. She's like, no, you didn't. You thought you were going to get a slap on the wrist. It's the only reason why you offered to do that. And this is what happened. And that kind of stinks. But there was no undoing it at that point.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah.
But besides his conversation with Carly, which was just him being a jerk, whenever Willow is like, oh no, they took my kids, blah, blah, blah. Which I was kind of surprised that Carly made that decision since Michael wasn't around. I did kind of think when Diane came to her that she was going to say, just leave the kids with Willow.
I think if he had not filed for divorce, I agree. She would not have done it. If it had just been the separation that Willow had initiated, I think that she would have left it. But I think that, because I don't think that Diane would have even suggested it. You know, if it was still just a separation and if she had just only been having conversations with Michael, I think it still would have been, I'm not going to do it. But like Martin told Willow and like Diane told Martin, I have to proceed. It doesn't matter that he's not available. You know, we still have to move forward. And this would have been the next in his paperwork. He was filing for sole custody. So we have to continue pursuing that. So I think that that's the only reason why Diane suggested it and that Carly did it.
I think Carly did it because she was mad about the whole DC thing. I think that if it would have been a one time, if it would have been a one time with Drew, that she would have just been like, okay, you guys are still kind of sorting things out. But once you like flaunt it in everyone's face and have your pictures splattered all over the internet of the two of you together at this huge moment. Like, I'm going to go after you the way that it hurts. But I was still surprised because she was supposed to be acting the way that she thought Michael would act. I don't feel like Michael would have said, I'm incapacitated, but yeah, go ahead and still take the kids off their mom.
I don't know, because he's also such a business-minded person that he would have seen this is what the initial process was. We have to continue this way or we risk all of it. He was willing to, and that's the thing though, Diane knows that he's willing to negotiate down to 50-50.
Right.
And you prepare your client for, hey, by the way, I have a really good feeling that this is what they're going to come back with, but let's start here. That way they come here instead of us starting here and them coming in lower.
Right. And lowball you. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes it depends on the situation, that
right.
We start not high, not unreasonably high. We'll put it that way. But you start somewhere with the, Michael went into that saying, but we're going to wind up at 50-50, knowing that if he went in with 50-50, he was probably going to get pushed out. So he started at the absolute max.
Yes.
So that he doesn't get pushed out. I mean, he even said that, was that this week or last week, that he was like, so what happens now? Because eventually they're just going to push me out, and she's going to wind up with the kids.
So that was the conversation he was having with Sonny before the explosion happened. Cause he was talking about not wanting to put the kids in the middle like him and Morgan were, but at the same time, he's not going to be pushed out of his kids' lives.
Yeah. Those last scenes.
Yeah.
You could just see like Steve Burton the whole time was like ready to cry the whole time.
Yeah. Yep. And there was like that one embrace between Sonny and Michael where he was like, I got you. It's okay. I got you. And you're like, oh, this is like the undertone there. But
I didn't think I was going to cry over Michael leaving.
I haven't cried yet. I was just like really mad. Like I said, like this is not the way he's supposed to go out. But
we've talked about this like kind of with Sam. We've just got back the character.
Yes. Right. And he just started acting like Michael again. Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Drew says to Willow, like, hey, maybe there is a way that you can keep the kids. You just need to let them know that you're his medical proxy. And so you're going to cut everyone out that like you're in charge. They can't see him. They can't whatever. And at first Willow was like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not that kind of person. And I'm like, yeah, why aren't you realizing that Drew is that kind of person? And that's who you're with, because that's gross. And instead she listened to him and stupid Nina. And they're talking about where they can move Michael to next. Like he needs to go to a long-term burn facility. And she walks out and is like, you don't even need to talk to them about it because I'm in charge.
There's going to be a lot of this Willow Drew stuff that we're going to talk about even just this week that really, but we're on it right now where they're talking about the medical proxy. So we talked about this last week about making sure that your medical proxy knows that they are your medical proxy.
Right.
But also, this is the dumbing down of the woman. She's a nurse. You're telling me that she does not know what a healthcare proxy is or what the stipulations and rules are around it? Like what it means?
Yeah.
Like, oh, what does that mean?
Right. And Drew has to explain it to her because he has such an extensive medical background. He should absolutely know all of this to tell her.
Yep. So.
And there has to be, again, never been through this situation, but I would assume that you can file like an emergency court order to get that taken away from her. Like this was just a technicality that she's still listed as his person. Here's the divorce papers that he filed yesterday. So obviously he wants this to revert back to his parents or someone else. You're not going to leave it as your wife that you're divorcing.
I mean, I would say in this instance, yes, but I mean, you and I both know that there's a lot of people that get divorced that stay each other's important things. But typically those are the more amicable divorces.
Right. I was going to say for a long time after I was done with my ex, he was still my medical person because I do believe that he would not be like, oh, pull the plug because I'm the mother of his children. Right. He would look out for the best interest of me on their behalf. But no, in the middle of a hostile custody case, absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
And especially when you could go to court and be like, listen, she's trying to use the fact that she has medical proxy against this court order, any judge in the world would be like, absolutely not. We're throwing this out. Like, it's not supposed to be something you can blackmail someone with.
Especially where he is in the situation where it is life and death, where it is quality of care. Like, I feel like the judge could say, okay, well, what are you going to do then? Like, what are you?
Right.
What is your plan? Like, are you planning on not making a decision until they give you your kids back? Which is like, that's blackmail.
Yeah.
You're putting, I'm sorry, that's almost, I could be wrong, but I feel like if Michael dies because of her lack of action towards his care, could that be considered some kind of manslaughter?
Right.
I mean, I think Cyrus took that opportunity. Wow, that would have been so interesting if Willow had been fighting them so hard about this that Michael did not receive the next level of care that he needs that would have saved his life. And then he died, but then Willow gets charged with manslaughter. That would have been amazing.
Then Drew could have done something to get tossed in jail with her, and we could just be done with both of them, and I'd be very happy. I'm over Drew.
I think that everybody is at this point. Ryan, are you over Drew?
Are you over Drew? Absolutely. He was sidetracked.
Ryan's not really participating, guys. He just happens to be there.
He was sidetracked because right before that, if you heard that loud boom sound, one of the cats jumped up on my dresser and pushed something off, and so he was making sure that it wasn't like a broken or exploded item.
I did not hear it, but that is good. Good.
We're like our own sound effect. Boom.
But yeah, that would have been so interesting.
That would have been so interesting. And to see Carly fighting for the custody of the kids then, oh my gosh.
To see Christina fighting for custody of the kids.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would have been nice.
And Molly moves in with her and they raise the kids.
Okay.
Bye-bye, TJ.
What did TJ do to make you mad this week? He wasn't even there.
He wasn't, but he's been annoying lately. So
I was kind of annoyed with the way that they were talking about Michael, though, because when she was talking to Christina, when Alexis was talking to Christina, she was like, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. And Christina was like, he's always been there for me. And he always is like my sounding board. And when Sam died, he was the first person that I called and blah, 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 blah. And then Molly shows up. And at first, I was fine with her reaction because she was like, do you think it's okay that I'm here? Like, I want to support Christina, but I don't want to be overbearing. Blah. And then Alexis is like, oh, yeah, like, are you okay? Like, you kind of knew Michael. And it's like, what do you kind of? That was your cousin.
Well, and they talked about how Alexis did ask, are you still close? I mean, and I have cousins that I used to be super close to that you just, like Molly said, we got older, we have careers, we're adults now, we have our own lives, and our lives just didn't mesh. Sasha, no. Okay, so Molly can still be there. Sasha moves in with Christina and they raise all three babies, all three kids.
Oh, okay, there you go. I like that.
And they all move into the Quartermain mansion,
I forgot that Maxie didn't know that Michael was Sasha's baby daddy. And so whenever Felicia told both of them, well, Maxie seemed to already know, but told both of them about Michael being in the hospital, and Sasha was like, oh my gosh, I have to go. And then Maxie was like, well, that was kind of an odd reaction. I was like, really? Why aren't you getting this?
Well, she said, even that aside, she's told Felicia, because maybe Felicia wasn't aware that Sasha and Michael had a relationship in the past. But Maxie told her, they were together, and they stayed friends. Well, those two alone is enough to warrant them.
True.
If X had been in an explosion and I was I'd be gone.
Yeah.
Pregnant with his baby or not.
Right.
Like, I'd have been gone. And it just occurred to me that perhaps Jason's going to put two and two together because he doesn't know that Sasha's pregnant. He's going to take care of.
Absolutely. Because
those flashbacks of him taking care of Michael when he was a baby, and that's why he's going to take care of Michael's baby for him.
Yes.
They're going to pretend like they're together, and Jason's going, it's going to be Michael all over again. They're going to pretend like they're together, and it's going to seem like And it's going to seem
Just sit here and laugh at you.
like, they're having a baby and it's actually going to be Michael's.
Did Michael tell Jason that he hooked up with someone?
He told him it was Sasha. He straight up told him it was Sasha. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. See, I couldn't remember if he...
It was when they were sitting at the Brown Dog bar and he just blurted it out and said, so I slept with Sasha. Okay. And Jason said, well, you guys do have a past and you're like, and you're friends and, sometimes you just need comfort.
Yes. Yes, I couldn't remember if he had told him
Yep.
that they actually hooked up, because Sasha said to Jason this week, like, when I was going through my stuff with Cody, he comforted me even though he was going through his own stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
Sasha doesn't know that he knows.
Comforted. Yeah. Right.
I know Sasha didn't know territory here with who knows.
Right. But yeah, I didn't know. I knew that Jason would eventually catch on to the fact that she was pregnant and then that the baby was Michael's, but I wasn't sure if he had known that they had hooked up or not. So
he does.
Okay.
He does. And yeah.
All right, I'm ready for that. That'll be good.
I am so ready for that. Oh, and then Jason taking on all the blame though, because since Sam passed away, he hasn't been doing his job as well.
Yes.
And I like that Sonny was like, no, like we all missed this. And there's guards too that missed this. So like, the guys that are actually watching, like, how did it get in there? Do you know what I'm starting? Could it have been a drone?
That's what I assumed it was, that it got dropped on the fireplace.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, 100%. Now we're getting into conspiracy theory stories. And I mean, there are drones over New Jersey right now that we don't know what the heck they're doing.
Well, the WSB is using drones that they don't know are there. And that's how they got the footage of Dexter's killer. And they're saying that the method used to cause the fire was classified WSB warfare items. Yep. So it would make sense that whoever broke in and used one of the WSB drones with this concoction to drop it down the fireplace.
I think it's Colette, because she came up with maybe there was a breach in security and it got sold to the highest bidder. Oftentimes when people come up with those theories, okay, now this is going to sound like I'm guilty of something, but no, I guess maybe her coming up with that theory is just a logical step.
I don't know. I don't trust her because she took the shot before Brennan told her to. So maybe she is working with Sidwell, or maybe she did sell the drone or the stuff to Sidwell. That would be a good twist.
And could Valentine know? And that's why she took the shot, because she kept saying he knows too much.
Yeah, there you go.
Because Valentine was okay. So Valentine was connected with Pikeman. So
yes,
that's it's in there somewhere. Because Sidwell has nothing to do with Pikeman, though, right?
Mm-mm. Not that we know of yet, anyway.
Because it was earlier in the week when was that this week that Brennan was asking her, like, what the heck? I did not tell you to shoot at him. And she was like, well, I had to take the shot, whatever. He's like, no, you didn't.
Right. Yeah, that was this week, because she kept saying.
Thankful I was right about that one, that he was not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
We just solved it.
That's all you, because you went all over the place, but I love it.
I don't even know what I just said.
You need one of those boards with the string that we talk about just to keep track of your own thought process.
This is why we need a transcript.
Oh, man.
And this would help with, on our recap, we're horrible at keeping track of our guesses and then finding out who's right about stuff. So, but then they also went on to talk about that Charlotte's probably going to lead them to Valentine again because of social media. But at the same time, I think that Brennan is forgetting that Charlotte is not a typical teen. So
true.
She has kind of not probably really been on social media, and she's a smart kid, like she's a smart young woman.
Right.
She's aware of, she is someone who learns from her actions and consequences not to do it again.
Yeah. And regardless, in the beginning, she had a burner phone. It wasn't her texting Rocco that got her caught. It was the fact that Lulu then went to see her. So if she wanted to text off of a new burner phone every 6 months, hey, happy, whatever,
Yeah.
The chances that they're getting caught off that are not good.
But would they be following, I don't know how this all works, but could they be monitoring Rocco's phone for those messages to be coming in and then able to trace it back to where she is without her even knowing?
I think that might be on their radar now, but originally I don't think that was. I don't think they were watching.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, even if she gets a new phone.
Yeah.
If there's an international text coming in, they're going to see it's either Jake, but Jake probably still has his, I don't know. Would he keep his cell phone? He's only over there kind of temporarily.
I would think so.
What kind of a plan does Elizabeth have?
I'm sure that she upgraded and it's fine.
Oh, we didn't see Liz this week. We saw Lucas defending her to Portia. And then Portia's playing like, and this is why I'm trying so hard to make sure that you're not. No, you're not.
No. Mm-mm.
The rest of that sentence was that she's trying so hard to make sure that the board doesn't just take the easy way out and that they do catch who's actually doing it.
Right. But she's not. And now she's going to have to acknowledge that her whole idea was wrong because Liz isn't even in the building and now Michael's going to be dead because of the same thing.
Well, and then what's up with that? Why don't we have increased security now or increased there should be like no one's left alone, or
no one should be left alone. There should have been security just on the fact that people are dying. And so we should be upping the security, but she just banned Cyrus 3 days earlier. Why is there not a guard stopping Cyrus from getting in there?
Right.
It should have never happened.
Even Isaiah said to her, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to go down that easy.
Right. And she was like, well, I'm going to call the organization. But it doesn't matter if you call the organization and they tell him no. You have to have people in place to stop him from going. And you obviously didn't do that. So you're the one who should be fired because you're incompetent.
And just let Carrie be the chief of staff.
Exactly.
I got mad at her for a moment when she called Curtis to let him know about Michael, because I feel like that was a HIPAA violation, but at the same time, it's also his friend. So I'm not sure of what that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's like the owner of his bit. Like are they allowed to call?
I wouldn't think so, especially disclosing what's going on. Like, she didn't just call and be like, Michael's in the hospital. She was like, Michael's in the hospital for 3rd-degree burns.
Yes. Yeah.
Over 40% of his body. Like, that is definitely HIPAA violation.
Yeah. Especially to be saying it out loud in the middle of the hallway, walking around on.
Right.
Okay, like, so it was.
With it being
Lucas, however, shutting down Drew. He's like, I can tell you he's here. That is it.
Yep. Exactly. And Curtis to Drew was good because Drew's like, oh, he's my family. I care about him. And Drew's like, you weren't caring about him when you were banging his wife last night. So how about you just leave?
Yeah. And you only want him to survive so that you don't feel guilty about the fact that he was dying while you were sleeping with Willow. And they didn't bring a nanny. That bothered me so much when she said that she had to get back to her room so that Wiley doesn't wake up and she's not there.
Yep.
You're telling me that you're not in some kind of a suite, that there's at least I'm hoping that they're in a suite, that there is just a common area that we weren't told about, and that Wiley has his own bedroom, Scout has her own bedroom, and so does Willow. And then she just wound up in Drew's. And let's say that Wiley snuck out or like got up in the middle of the night and wanted to go see his mom.
Yeah, I was under the impression that him and Scout were in the same room. And so I was thinking like, okay, one bedroom here, living area, and then bedroom here. But that left the same question of where was Willow supposed to sleep.
But it didn't sound like they were even, the way that it was said, it didn't sound like they were even in that kind of a situation.
Right. Like there was an extra room between them. It was like he was on the other side of that door. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounded
and you never saw them
a typical hotel. Yeah.
And just ew. I'm sorry, but really, you can't wait till your child is not in the next room. Like you said, you were coming on this trip because you had originally planned on coming on this trip, and that you were bringing your kid because it was an educational experience. Can't you stick to that for 24 hours? Like they were supposed to go home, and instead they decided it was too late, so they would stay the night. She is a quartermain. She didn't have enough money to get her own hotel room. Like,
Right.
they were all
Right.
sold out. I understand it may be a big deal for swearing people in, but there was no hotels at all anywhere that she could get her own room. It doesn't even, no. And like, would you really
it was a big event though, so maybe.
but you really, like, Wiley isn't a baby. If it was Amelia, you could be like, okay, so you put Amelia in her pack and play and she falls asleep. And if she wakes up, she's not climbing out.
Right.
And even if she did climb out and walk into the bedroom, it wouldn't register anything. Wiley is old enough that if he would have walked into that room and saw them in bed together, he'd have been like, that's like how you dress when you're laying in bed with daddy. Why are you doing that with Uncle Drew?
First of all, even in the same bedroom behind closed doors with Uncle Drew.
Right. But especially, yeah, if he'd have walked in, that would have been so bad.
And then they just had the same stupid conversation at least 5 times about how
Uh-huh.
be a scandal and I don't want that to fit. Then if you don't want it to be an issue, then don't be there.
But she
If you don't want to
he
be seen
looked,
as
he
I was
looks
gonna say, I'm like, if
deep
you don't want to be
into
seen
her
as an
eyes.
adulteress and it's like you're cheating on your husband, then don't do it. If you don't want to be seen as a scandal, then don't put yourself in a position where the press is even going to be able to see that you're there together.
But she couldn't make a rational decision because he looked deep into her eyes and told her that he would risk everything for her because she was all that mattered. And he has to admit, he loves her.
It's just so people are probably over hearing us say we are over it.
Well, you know who I love this week was Joss, who laid it all out there. She was amazing. She was like, you are hooking up with your boyfriend while my brother is burning alive, blah, blah, blah. And then Willow had the audacity to be like, oh, Joss, I thought that if anyone would give me grace, it would be you. And Joss instantly was like, okay, I'm not saying I was right for what happened with Cameron, but I'm pretty sure we weren't married and
I
we didn't
loved
have
that.
children. And I was like, yeah, there's a difference. Thank you. And
Joss was a child. I mean, it's still not, she was older. She was technically an adult, but
there's still, you have better knowledge as you get older. And at the very end of the day,
than what she did with Cam. But
yeah, she should have done better, but they weren't engaged and they certainly weren't married. And wasn't his uncle. Ugh. But anyway, and then she 100% pointed it out. She was like, you were in love with Chase because he rescued you from the cult. And then you fell in love with Michael because he gave you Wiley. And now you're in love with Drew because he got your donor. And so that saved your life. So in a year or two, when you need another hero for something else, you'll be done with Drew. And then she was like, oh, Nina came along and was like, stop yelling at my daughter. And I just wanted to punch her because shut up, Nina. Like, how are you going to talk to a child like that even? Like, I know, again, Joss isn't like a baby, but she's a child when it comes to the age difference between Nina.
They know that Nina knows that she could take it. She wouldn't do that probably to Trina, but she knew that Joss was fighting back just as much as she was giving it. But
I loved that Nina's like, you're just like your mother. And Joss is like, well, thank you. And you're just like your mother because you were both horrible people who hook up with other people's husbands and only care about yourselves. So thanks.
They can't stand to be called out on their crap, but under the surface, they're just a bunch of lying liars who lie.
Yes. It's beautiful. I was loving Joss.
I agree. Like, Joss was absolutely perfect this week. And it was interesting that she came to that same conclusion that Michael had told Sonny about it too. And he's like, I don't know how I didn't see it earlier, but Willow falls for
her heroes.
He said something about like she adapts to please. Sonny wound up calling her a people pleaser. I don't feel like she's a people pleaser.
I think Michael was a little nicer about it than Joss because he was like, she becomes who the people that she's with want her to be. Like, I kind of feel bad for her because she changes her whole personality to mold to this is what that person wants.
Yeah.
And he did it kind of as like, oh, she cares about this person, so she changes herself to make them happy. Whereas Joss was like, you are just a liar who changes how you are depending on who you're with to get what you want because you're a liar.
But that also is probably still part of her conditioning because she still never actually went to therapy from being raised in the cult. That's cult behavior. You know, it's you're going to do anything that the person that you perceive as having authority over you. And I'm not saying that Willow, I mean, obviously Willow is not some, sit back and let the man just handle everything and she'll just be the good wife, whatever.
Right.
But that just might be part of that. She was raised where, well, these people are, Chase had a career. She was a teacher, and they were equals for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And and they were equals. But then, Michael was father. He gave her Wiley. He came from influence. And she adapted to that. And then the next level up is Drew, which I don't even think that Drew's the next level up, because they're going to find some way.
Achieved a little bit more since he is 20 years older than Michael. So I would hope that his status is a little higher.
Well, that's the thing. How old is Willow? Drew could be Willow's dad.
Right.
As Carly pointed out, you slept with my daughter-in-law.
Yes. Ugh. It's just so gross.
Yeah, I could not believe that he was seriously saying, and he really thought that he would be received well, finding her in the chapel and extending his condolences to her.
Right.
But that also just goes to that narcissistic mindset where he's just, everyone's going to be so thankful that I'm even in their presence.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm willing to put all this stuff behind us.
I was really impressed that she didn't grab one of those candles and set him on fire. Because that's really what I would have done.
Same thought. I literally had the same thought.
I'm just going to push you and you're going to fall into these candles, and then we can tell you how it was your fault because you put yourself in this situation. You shouldn't have been angering me in front of open flames.
Yep. I really just don't get it.
No.
Stop saying that too.
No, I just can't wait for her to find out that he had been hooking up with Nina, because then she's going to be like, ew, you slept with my mother-in-law and my mother, and now you're sleeping with me. You're disgusting.
Well, he was in a relationship with her mother-in-law.
Right.
And he had zero clue. She had zero clue that he was hooking up with Nina.
Right. But
and
when she finds out
is that it continued, and it would have been different had it just been in between Carly and you, I was hooking up with your mom, but nope, there's overlap, and that's disgusting.
Yep. He's such a pig. I hate him.
I love that everyone threw it in her face, though, that she slept, they slept together where Scout plays.
Yes.
What else? Oh, we didn't formally actually say that this is what happened, but I mean, we alluded to it a ton of times. Diane, Chase, and a social worker showed up to Nina's apartment to get the kids. And she's like, they need to stay with their mom. And I don't think Diane was entirely being sarcastic. She knew that she was in DC, but she also knew that she had come back because Wiley was there. I don't think that Diane was being sarcastic with well, go get Willow. I'll explain this to her.
Right.
And then Nina said, great. Oh, she's not here though.
Yep. And Diane was like, oh, she's at GH where her lover is. That's convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Loved it.
And what else? Oh, Anna called in a favor with Brennan, and that's how they started talking about that it was probably the WSB and
right, because there was no leftovers,
ties or knowledge of WSB materials, whatever.
Right. Of course he didn't, but yeah, there was no evidence left after the explosion.
Everything really went together this week. I mean, even the Sidwell and Lucy stuff, because we're assuming that that's who did all of this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're missing Brooklyn and Lois, which I was just annoyed.
So it's official.
Yeah. That she admitted that she got pregnant in high school, and they're going to make it Dante's because Lois was like, you got caught up that one summer at camp and then came home pregnant, and God's not punishing you for giving your baby up. It doesn't work that way, blah, 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 blah. And you had a perfectly normal pregnancy. And then I just don't understand. I think they're jumping the gun because I swear they've only been trying for a month. But okay, it's been suggested several times now by themselves and by others. If you're concerned, go get everything checked out. So we're going to cry in the living room and still not do anything about it until Lois is like, well, maybe you can go get checked out.
Right. I don't like it. I hope it does not wind up being Dante. I hope that there is just something maybe Dante knew about it. But then is this the dark secret that Cody's been keeping? But at the same time, I don't think it is, because Cody's not that I don't feel like Cody would be, not that he would spill the beans. I feel like he is definitely someone that you can go to and he'll hold your secrets.
No, but they made it seem like it was something that Dante did that then Cody took the blame for. Like,
right. And that it was illegal. And
right. Like Dante robbed a store and he took the fall for him or whatever. I can understand him keeping the secret and not telling the whole world, oh yeah, Brooklyn was pregnant by Dante, but he wasn't taking the blame for it.
Right.
And it was definitely not illegal. So why are we making it seem like it's such a huge, I mean, not to say it wasn't a huge deal, but you know what I mean? Like,
it's a completely different huge deal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not something that would have long term, because we also are under the impression that whatever it was that Cody took the fall for all completely altered the path that he was on.
Right. And that's why he wasn't like a successful, why he like jumped from job to job and just did like little odd things, was because he couldn't have gotten a career. Like Dante wouldn't have been able to become a cop if this secret came out, which is absolutely nothing to do with knocking somebody up in high school. Like, come on.
Right. So yeah, it can't be. That can't be Dante's secret. It can't be Dante's kid. Gio cannot be her kid. Nothing.
No. Well, I mean, I would just be concerned because
the thing is, Brooklyn knows secrets don't stay hidden, especially not when it comes to things like this. So, and Chase is a pretty reasonable guy. You know, I think it's going to hurt him. They started trying initially after Gregory died. I think they took a little bit of a break when they got Violet, but they have been trying for quite some time, because I think it was like right after they got married.
Did they start right then? I felt like they had waited because Violet kept talking about how she was going to have a baby cousin that was a girl, blah, blah, blah. And I thought that they like kind of joked like, well, we're not even there yet, but when we are, we hope it happens.
Yeah.
I didn't think they had started trying until a month ago, but regardless, okay, the advice is go get everything checked out. Stop sitting around talking about going and getting everything checked out. Because Chase had the same conversation with
Sasha.
Yeah, he walked in. She looked like she was going to faint. He sat her down. He got her some food. And then he sat there and talked about he got everything that he wanted for Christmas except for the main thing. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, you hear stories all the time about the second that you stop stressing about it, it just happens, blah, 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 blah. And you're going to be a great dad and she's going to be a great mom. And he was like, yeah, I guess we should go get everything tested. And she's like, yeah, you should.
That was sweet, though, seeing them.
You could tell
friends.
that Sasha felt bad not being able to tell him that she was pregnant and for how easily she got pregnant when they're trying so hard.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's it. Other than seeing Joss and Trina at Dex's apartment and the whole, Joss kept playing with that gun. Like, is
I
she
know
her own revenge or what's going on?
Yeah. So they packed up his apartment. She found the gun and then she wound up hiding it in the box with, though. So is that the gun that Sonny gave Dex to kill Cyrus with?
I don't know. I couldn't tell if there was a serial number on it or not.
I don't know that either. But yeah, I mean, she kept going back to it. She looked at I didn't like that she pulled out two, because I thought that were they going to have her be in a different mental place than what I felt like they were alluding to. We need to worry about Joss. I mean, we need to worry about Joss, but we need to worry about Joss.
Right. Because as she was looking at the gun, you saw Carly talking to Brennan saying like being strong is just a front and what's going to happen like when that finally falls down. And then Trina was with Joss and Joss is like, just leave me here alone after she found the gun. Just leave me here alone. And so then it was like, really, please don't go that way.
And she made a point of talking about how much she's such a great friend and she understands, like if she was, when the roles were reversed, you know, she did the same for Trina. She was like, nope, you have to get out of your own head. We have to get out. We have to go do something. Let's go get a milkshake. Let's just go see a movie, you know, just something to keep your mind occupied. Yeah. And then Brennan showed up and took her to the hospital.
Yeah.
And about the Michael stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so I don't know, is that box is somebody going to go over? Is Trina going to go over and get the rest of the boxes because Joss is taking care of all this stuff with her family? So she's going to take the boxes to the donation place. They're going to find a gun. They're going to blah, 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 blah.
I feel like that was a keep box. So I think it's going to Joss's house because it had like a sweatshirt of his and stuff.
That's true. Okay.
So I think it's going to their apartment.
So Trina's going to wind up finding the gun.
Or not, and then we'll see Joss with it later trying to kill Cyrus when she figures out it was him.
Hope she doesn't do that.
Yeah, but they kind of have to do that because that was how her and Dex started, was he was going to kill somebody because Sonny told him to get revenge, and she was like, you can't just kill people out of revenge. So now
that's why they broke up.
Yeah. So now she's going to have that whole thought process of, maybe is it okay to kill people for revenge because I really want to kill Cyrus?
Okay. Yeah. Brennan, we're like kind of going backwards and forwards, but like everything, it's not as scattered as it seems. Brennan was with Carly at the Metro Court. She was supposed to be having dinner with Lucas, and they overheard the guy on the phone talking about the fire. But before that, they had been talking about Joss, and he was doing really well trying to talk to her, and he's like, well, grief, people tend to respond in one of two ways. Like, it either paralyzes them or they see it as call to action. And he's like, which one are you? And she's like, well, I guess I move forward and I hit head on. And he's like, and so do you think your daughter would do that too?
Right.
And she's like, yep, I guess that would be how she is. But she even says, she's like, this is not the first time that she's lost the man that she loves. And I thought that was really nice that I thought that was a good conversation that they were having, because it showed Carly is trying to leave her alone, but also, she's
a mom.
She's trying not to have her, but she's also like, am I doing enough?
Yeah.
But I think if Carly and Brennan get together, I might like it, because he's been around for a year now.
As long as he's more honest with her, I'll be okay with it, because like she made the decision to be with Sonny knowing what Sonny was involved with, and I think that she deserves that same respect from Brennan. And she's not a stupid girl or a stupid lady, and she has learned enough from being around Jason and Sonny that if Brennan's trying to hide stuff from her, if they dumb her down so she's like, oh, I didn't realize, then I'm going to be really annoyed.
But they always do that, so
well, then I'm going to be really annoyed.
Yeah. All right. But I really do think that's it. I thought, Laura and Martin.
Oh, yeah. Talking about Lulu being like her mother.
Yeah. I'm just skimming real quick. Well, he kind of had the same conversation as Brennan did with Laura over, and, would you have just stayed home too? Or would you have gone after also?
Right.
But then he's like, yeah, and also don't forget that Lulu also found her way home right after she got out of a coma.
Yes.
I did take a lot of notes this week, actually. So that's it.
Reality check.
So what's your reality check?
I was boring this week. Both Ryan and I were sick. I don't know what was wrong with us. Like, we took COVID tests and it was negative, but like achy and tired and just like not okay. And so we kind of laid around for most of the week, just like not doing anything. It was really actually kind of nice. It sucks to get to be sick to get that. But we were both like, yep, nope, not going to work, not doing anything else. Like, Madeline got to her dance classes and whatever stuff she needed to do, and Emily to school. But besides that, it was like, nope, we're not stressing out about anything else. We're just going to lay around and be sick. So that's what we did.
It's nice. Did you watch anything?
He was watching the different Marvel movies.
Which ones?
Ryan, what movies were you watching?
We watched the last two Avengers movies, so...
Oh, did you cry at Endgame?
I did not cry at Endgame. I mean, it's sad. I was telling her when I went to the movie theater to see it, for both of the movies, there was kids that were obviously in the theaters. And at the end of Infinity War, whenever... Spoiler alert, everyone, if you haven't seen it, I don't know how. But at the end of the first one, whenever everybody started disappearing into ash or dust, these kids were crying when Spider-Man disappeared. And then obviously the second one is just sad because Iron Man. But no, I don't think Amanda doesn't cry at movies. I watched Notebook with her and she didn't cry at all. And I was like, man, like that. Like,
cry at the Notebook?
Like, I mean, there's like different reasons you could cry for Notebook. And like, man, like the end of that movie, whenever he has, the Parkinson's and like is like, oh my God, like, I don't know how that doesn't get to anyone. And she just sat there. She was stoic.
Oh my God.
I cry every time. How do you not cry?
I don't know. I don't know, but that's his example. Anytime that someone wants to talk about me being cold-hearted, he's like, yeah, she didn't cry in the Notebook, so she's heartless. It's not a
Well, because there's a
surprise.
lot of guys who cry at the Notebook.
Oh, I sobbed. That's sad as heck.
He's a crybaby. He cries at a lot of stuff.
I bawled at the end of Endgame, though. I was the person leaving the theater, still drying my tears, possibly still having them. Oh,
But yeah, that's what he watched, and I like half watched them. Like I was playing on my phone, but also watched them. I had seen them before, so
I was just gonna see if you had any recommendations, like for anything to binge.
oh no, nope.
Well, that stinks. That's an unproductive sickness.
Sorry. I don't have anything to binge. Trying to think if we looked at anything else. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, we've been watching Pop Culture Jeopardy with Madeline. Have you watched that yet?
No.
Oh, it's on Prime, and you would like it because you know a lot of nerdy things and useless information. So, yeah, Pop Culture Jeopardy on Prime. We watch regular Jeopardy with her, but it has to be like very specific categories for her to get into because some Jeopardy categories are just too educational for her that she won't sit and watch it. But Pop Culture Jeopardy, she will watch with us. And so you would like it because you would know most of the answers, I'm sure.
I'm curious now. I want to see.
Okay. There you go. There. Now there's my recommendation. You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, it just reminds me, like you were talking about Madeline. So we had, going back again to the computer thing, like with the DOS programming, like we had on an index card to type in the path to get to, we had Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy games, and you could put it on like automatic. And we had an exercise bike in the den that also had the computer. And so I would set it up on, just play while I rode the bike. And so I just watched like the game of Jeopardy while I was working out when I was a teenager.
Wow, you're such a dork. We so would not have been friends. I was not exercising as a teenager, and I was not watching Jeopardy unless I had to.
I just always liked that show. I haven't watched it in a really long time, though. So,
well, there's my recommendation: Pop Culture. So,
Pop Culture Jeopardy.
What did you do this week that was so much more exciting than just watching
not
TV?
much. Not much more. Daughter was supposed to go back on Monday, and sure enough, they were canceled.
Yep.
And they actually get canceled because they service 40 school districts, so they don't do remote.
Oh,
stuff.
nice.
They're just straight canceled.
Nice.
So she went back Tuesday, kind of just trying to get back in the swing of things now after the holidays. I feel like I had a really nice kind of a month. I didn't have it off because I was still working, but like I wasn't running.
Yeah.
And we had like our first meeting back at the office in probably a month. Just stuff like that. Ooh. Today I made my first latte.
Ooh.
I got an espresso coffee maker and I set it up this morning and I made my own espresso and steamed my own milk.
I'm going to start coming back over for recordings now.
Well, I mean, I know this in my head, but then as I'm making it, I'm like, well, this is not something I'll be doing at 6 o'clock in the morning. It is so loud.
Yeah.
But it was actually pretty good. I was happy with myself and I feel energized. So
good.
Yeah. And I mean, it was also my son's last week before he goes back tomorrow. They're spending the weekend at their dad's. He'll be here tomorrow morning just to finish packing up stuff. And then he goes back to finish his last semester.
That's crazy.
I can't believe it.
It's gone way too fast.
Well, and think about it. So we started this podcast in 2019, 6 months after he got his driver's license.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And now he's graduating college.
Yeah. It's nuts. No, it's gone way too. Like, I think because I have Emily home and because it took her a little while to figure out what she wanted to do as far as school, that I just kind of like push it out of my head. Like it wasn't that long ago. They just graduated. And then I had Megan just graduate. And so I kind of like cluster them together, even though I know there's a 3-year difference. But hearing it from where your son's at, it's like, man, like they're like adults.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it feels like shutdown was just yesterday still.
Yeah.
And it was 5 years ago
Right.
already. So, well, I mean, I guess it's only really been 2.5, 3 that we've actually been out of it because we were still in it a lot. Well, I mean, 2021, we were still in it. 2022 is when things started to phase out. And I would say 23 is probably the first year that we had
Yeah.
where we didn't even have to consider.
Right.
But whatever. All right. So, yeah, join us on Thursday as we recap 2024 General Hospital.
Have a good week.
And
I don't know where I'm at. Have a good week.
Yes, week. Switching to Saturday mornings, I think, or Saturdays has impacted. Anyway,
All right.
We'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to peer54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Peer 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at peer54podcast@gmail.com.